I'm rocking and rolling, ready to go.
Shake that ass for me. Don't shake that ass for me.
Sometimes when you twerk too much, you have to iron the wrinkles out.
Hello and welcome to another fantastic edition of the Pants Free Podcast. Pants never required. On this episode, we test the limits of your attention span and teach you how to twerk dance your cares away. Here now is your host, Balonius Francine Marconi, and his podcast compadre, Nick Miles.
Well, hey, look, here we are again, Nick. Why are we here? I mean, not why are we here. How are we here? No. You're in San Diego, and I'm in my home studio chatting away with you once again.
Yes, and why are we here is a very valid question. I'm not sure why we're here.
That's a big picture question that can't just be answered.
Because 10,000 unsuspecting people worldwide every episode is still downloading the podcast.
What's wrong with them? I don't know. I would like to thank Tanya from Spreaker, who has tweeted about us, and they're doing a feature story on this. Wherever you're hearing this, they're going to tell. They've told people that we exist.
I like that, and people announcing your existence is always very generous.
What are you doing? Rustling through your papers? What's happening now?
Yeah. You always send me a list of things to talk about, and I have a giant list here.
Yeah, but it's an email. It sounds like you're shuffling papers against your microphone. What the heck?
I printed it out because I hate trees.
In Portland, Oregon, people watch out for people on crosswalks, and usually they stop for them.
Right.
Well, a lot of other places in the world, I've noticed, don't. And yesterday I was driving into work, and a lady was in the crosswalk, and I stopped my car and let her go.
Yeah.
And most people...
Gentlemanly thing to do.
Right. And this a-hole proceeded with his a-holery to zip around me and almost hit the woman as she's walking through the crosswalk. Now, that pissed me off, but guess what? Now, you always wish this would happen, and yesterday it did. There was a police officer sitting in his car.
Did you tell me, did he get the guy and beat the crap out of him?
He saw the whole thing and pulled the guy over. Now, I don't know. I had to go to work, so I didn't see. I should have just stayed around and, filmed it, but it was the best. I wanted to, go, how did that turn out for you, buddy? Hey!
It never happens to me, but luckily it happens to other people. I had a friend who was doing a live TV segment in California, and they were talking about a bad car accident that happened on a corner of one of the streets in California. And they're there with the cameras live talking about it, and they watched this guy just plow through the red light and turn right. And they were talking to the police officer, and he runs over and jumps in his car and, just jets after the guy in the middle of the live TV piece. It was great.
But what is it, it's always weird. I'm just stopped at a crosswalk. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the law.
Right.
And this guy is racing around me.
Right.
I hate people sometimes.
They are very inconsiderate of other people. Drivers seem to focus. It's always about their needs and what they need, and not about what everybody else in the world might need.
What just happened just now? You just cracked your microphone open or something.
No, I don't know.
It went...
It might be the dinosaur under the desk. No, I think that I'm talking to you from my hotel room, and actually the same hotel room we podcasted from in the past. But I think what happens is that the hotel's internet are very unpredictable, and sometimes they just get weird cracks. When the guy next door is ramping up, he has 4 screens of porn open, it kind of sucks the bandwidth up.
Yeah, but it didn't sound like that. It sounded like you raked something across your microphone.
You just lifted everything off the computer.
See, there it happened again.
Yeah, I just lifted everything off the computer. I could have nudged a piece of paper or something.
See, that's what you did. Blame it on your neighbor watching porn. How dare you?
Well, he is, because I can hear him banging on the walls.
That's a disturbing sound. Are you sure that's not you?
No, I would pretty much know if it was me.
Find all the links to everything Pants Free Podcast exclusively at pantsfreepod.com.
Nick has some news, I guess. I mean, this is kind of weird. And before the podcast, he goes, now, I'm not trying to make a big deal about this, but it's kind of a big deal. I mean, you have had a lap band surgery in the past.
Right.
And you are having that removed and then having something else put inside of you?
Yeah, so, lap bands are only successful for about 5 years, and I've had it for 8 years. And I lost 100 pounds with it, but, I lost 120 pounds with it. But I've 40 pounds crept back on over the last...
Have what back on?
Wait, so I lost 120...
Oh, I thought you said something else. I'm sorry.
No, I lost 120 pounds, and then 40 pounds has crept back on over the years. And so I just decided that the lap band had given me a little problems last year, and so I'm going to have it taken out. And the new surgery I'm having is they have discovered this triangle area in your stomach that actually secretes the hormones when you're hungry. So it's the hunger hormones. So they're taking that out, and then they fold the stomach into it like a banana shape. And you can only eat a very little amount of food, and you never feel hungry again in your life.
And it's like a banana hammock for your stomach?
Yeah, a banana. It's called the sleeve, but yeah, banana. It's like a banana. Your stomach becomes the shape of a banana. So
it's essentially it is like instead of a band, now you'll have a whole sleeve on your stomach.
Yeah, exactly. And supposedly it's really, really. I mean, I have friends that have had it done.
Can you eat bananas?
Yes, but you can't eat one at once. It'll take you like half a day to eat a banana.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Like you won't even be able to eat one banana.
It'll take a day, half a day. Like you could eat a banana in like 6 hours.
Oh my God!
So you can eat 4 meals of a banana, and then
so essentially it's just it's supposed to suppress your appetite, and therefore you won't want as much food, and your stomach will shrink.
Right. Well, it's forced to shrink. And one of my problems is that I can eat volumes of food. I can eat healthy food like salad, but I can have like 30 times more than most people.
You could just get into a trough of it.
Yeah. I can eat the same thing as a family of 8 eat.
Congratulations.
Right.
Who needs kids? I can eat my way through that food myself.
Right. Well, and the thing is, one of my other problems is, so it doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but I have a really low metabolism, so I can survive on 600 calories a day. That's all I would technically need. But one of the real issues for me is I'm always hungry.
Yeah, well,
I have to eat so much volume to feel full.
I always am too. It's a weird thing, and even I heard Dr. Drew on I think it was Adam Carolla's podcast talking about always being hungry, and he goes, I guess that's the way you know you're losing weight is if you're hungry, and it sucks because you're not. That's not how you want to live your life, but it like seriously, when I get my problem is snacking at night. Like I always want I could just have toast with bananas and peanut butter, and I could have, chips and salsa before dinner, and I can, but I'm having chicken and quinoa, it's ridiculous.
I've never been able to get into quinoa, but I really applaud you for doing that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it opens up my vessels. I can bleed faster than you. I've got wholesome blood vessels. Would you like to prick me?
What about your blood vessels?
No, but the thing is when you have a friend who does these things, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doctor by any means, but it seems like so unnatural and so it's kind of disturbing in a way. But then the other half is like, well, he's had the banding, and now you're going to Mexico to get this surgery, right?
Yeah.
Now, I only say that to bring this up. Why? Because you have to go there because a banding surgery of this nature in America would cost you $50,000.
It probably cost me $25,000. I mean, there's some places that do it for as little as $15,000, but it could cost up to $25,000. And in Mexico, it's like $8,000.
So okay, so you can go to Mexico and get it done for $8,000. What about Canada? Can you go there and get it done?
Yeah. Do you really want Canadians inside your body?
Hey, my girlfriend's Canadian. No,
I don't know. I've never invested going to Canada for.
but it seems like, I don't know, like Mexico seems like, I just picture you like on Breaking Bad in some tent out in the desert somewhere.
No, it's actually interesting because it's an American hospital that is completely caters for American clients only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you go there, and what is it, medical students?
No. It's these doctors. You see, it's cost them so much less to operate in Mexico. So, for instance, some of the parts that they use, like the staples for stitching and that sort of thing,
Are reused?
Those staples cost
Gently used staples in your gut.
No, they're not. Those staples cost $2,000 in the States. They cost like $800 in Mexico. So they're a lot, and it's the same supplier. Stuff's a lot cheaper.
Why is that? Why does it cost more in America?
Well, insurance and liability and FDA testing and all these things. Like, for instance, the lap band I had in was not legal in the United States when I had it put in. But it became legal 3 years later. So they're doing a lot more advanced stuff in Mexico. There's a lot more cancer drugs available.
So you came back into this country with an illegal alien inside of you?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How is that even possible? How did they let you across the border? Did you have to hop a fence?
Yeah. I waited 3 days and used the tunnel.
Yeah, you started talking to them, and they're like, I'm sorry, sir, we can't let you in. But I'm clearly an Englishman. Yeah, we know that's a fake accent.
I'm clearly an American.
I think you might be the first Englishman to actually even be in Mexico. I don't think there's ever been another English guy down there.
There's plenty of Americans, plenty of Spanish that have been to.
I love vacationing there. I've never thought of getting a medical procedure done.
I'm going in March again next year to Mexico.
So are you going there to get another procedure done? Because every time you go to Mexico now, I think you're getting knifed.
No, I'm going on vacation in March next year. March 1st, March 7th, I'm going to Cancun.
Now, when you get this banana strap inside of you, or whatever the hell, is it made out of banana peelings? What is it made out of?
It's just they basically just fold your stomach over into the shape of a banana and then staple it.
Oh, so you're getting a stomach stapling.
Yeah, it's like a stapling, but it's not what you would consider a stomach stapling.
I don't know what I would consider. Anything that has staples to do with it, I would consider it a stapling.
It means that you're having your digestive system rerouted.
Oh. You're not going to have a colostomy bag, are you?
No.
Okay.
But I am going to have explosive diarrhea for a couple of weeks.
Well, what's different from that? I mean, that's always happening, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you had to listen to this podcast live, you'd be like, really? How many times do you need to use the restroom, Nick?
Right.
So, so it's not like, because you know what I picture? Like, do you remember like on a bike where they have those pads, like, the bar pad for a boy's bike so you don't rack your balls on the hard thing on a dirt bike?
Yeah.
I picture like the foamy part like wrapped around your stomach.
Oh yeah. No, I think they take a section out at the top and then they just wrap the stomach in on itself.
And it can't be reversed one day.
Yeah. I mean, technically it can be reversed, but you know what? So I eat less food and I lose 100 pounds.
All right. And then, are you ever going to exercise?
My thing is hang on a second.
Oh my! Are you kidding me?
This is Fox.
This is so unprofessional.
Hey, Will.
This is Nick talking to his Fox.
Thank you, my friend. So they delivered the Fiat 500 and the Mercedes. Have some fun.
Well, I'm yucking it up.
I will be in at 6.
This is what you deal with when you record a podcast with Nick Miles.
Perfect. Thanks, buddy. See you then. Bye.
I think maybe have won the award for the most obnoxious rings on your phone. Was that like chipmunks from like the 80s or something?
It's like a Spanish. It goes ring, 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 ring. Hello, ring, ring.
It would be really hard for me not to just throw your phone out the window if I was hanging out with you.
Yeah, you know something too, though? I love that because it is super obnoxious.
You love irritating people? What is wrong with you?
My middle name is Can I Piss People Off Anymore?
Why?
I don't know. It's fun.
Nick, do you love delicious things?
I I do.
Well, if you love delicious, then I'm sure you're enjoying a slice of toasted Dave's Killer bread with your breakfast in the morning. Or maybe you're having a sandwich, a perfect, beautiful sandwich with all the things that you love mixed in and the toppings that are delicious, toasted or untoasted or even on its own. Dave's Killer bread doesn't use unnatural sources, and they try to use local when they can.
I've requested Dave's Killer bread on my upcoming hospital stay.
Well, they are moving into New Mexico, Arizona, Texas. They're already in Colorado, California, Washington. They're moving to New York. Where won't they go, Nick? There's no place that Dave's Killer bread can't be welcomed, because everybody in the world is saying no to bread on drugs.
It's even a snack at the Low Carb Convention in LA next month.
You got to check it out for yourself. Don't take our word for it. Go to daveskillerbread.com and find out where it is near you. Dave's Killer Bread. Just say no to bread on drugs.
And now it's time for Pants Free News.
Well, Nick, it's that time of the podcast where we get down to business. Are you ready? Are you prepared, sir?
Oh, I like to get down to business on a regular basis.
All right, take off your shirt, Juanita. Here we go. All right, lay it on me, Big Daddy.
Some think this music makes you do things.
Oh, it's that song by Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
The Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
Like CNN or somebody said that it was rapey?
Yes, journalists have called Robert Thicke's Blurred Lines song rapey because they believe that the music video and the song encourages rape.
Is his name Robert or Robin? I thought it was Robin Thicke.
Oh, it might be Robin.
But it's Alan Thicke's son. That's that's still, I don't know why that still intrigues me. Like, how does a guy like that from Growing Pains as the dad have a kid that becomes like even more famous than him?
And neither of them are actually thick.
We don't know that now, do we?
Oh, I wasn't talking about that.
Oh, I thought you're always talking about that. What, this one time you decided not to talk about that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's one of my favorite songs, actually, right now. And Jimmy Kimmel, the other night, did a really funny parody of that with Pharrell and Robin Thicke, and it was really funny.
Yeah, baby.
What is that, your response? What the hell? That was the creepiest response on earth, I think, just now.
Did I make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think I need to go now.
Job done.
It's the news! It's the news!
There was 2 hirings and refirings this week.
Oh, man, let me...
So, who's back in the Community?
Creator of Community, the TV show.
Yes.
He was fired at one point. I can't remember why, or don't really even know. But he was rehired.
Dan Harmon is his name.
Dan Harmon?
Yeah.
He was rehired to be like the director again.
Right. So he basically got fired by Sony Pictures, who produce Community. He got fired because he was very derogatory, wanted all the executives out of his creativity, and he had this sort of very crazy management style. And they fired him for that, but and he slammed the show for the season that he wasn't there, season 4. He slammed the show, and then they brought him back because I think they realized that season 4 wasn't as good as they thought it was.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they've got to make all the money they can. So
right. Well, look, I think it was a huge mistake for them to get rid of Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men. Huge mistake. Unbelievably huge mistake.
Well, in the same way, I feel like, every radio station that's ever fired me made a huge mistake.
Yes, and they absolutely did, because now you're an international superstar and man of mystery.
Oh, yeah, well, and also, I mean, for the love of God, every station that I've been on that's fired me, look at them. They've now changed formats.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, so look at your failure.
2.5 Men, I think, is... 2.5 Men is good, but it's nowhere near as funny as it was with Charlie.
Is this a bet you're working on with somebody to just weave in 2.5 Men to every podcast?
No, I don't get kickbacks from Turnoff Men anymore.
Oh, well, your residuals have worn out. You get like 30 cents per mention now.
Right. My residuals are done.
Oh, I'm terrible. Well, after it airs so many times, you can only make so much money off this crap.
Exactly. So, at the same time, I think that, bringing him back, you don't mess with a show that's a hit. If you can get 7 years out of a comedy show, that's a good run.
Is 8 too much?
Some things like Cheers and Frasier went on for longer, but
Friends.
7 years is a good run.
Friends.
How
many seasons do you need of that? And
300.
Then remember that fantastic spin-off, Joey?
Right.
You know what they should have done with Friends? And I've always said this. Chandler, they jumped the shark with Chandler getting involved with Monica and becoming like, hey, we're dating, and then married and all that kind of stuff. They should have kept Chandler and Joey single forever and then had the Chandler and Joey spinoff.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
But you know what? They don't listen to me. I wrote many letters, sent some cards. Even I fashioned a blow-up doll. It was really just a regular blow-up doll with a picture of Matt LeBlanc's face on it. They didn't understand what the hell I was trying to do. And it was...
that whole Friends was a very interesting, I guess, show and era. Matt LeBlanc, the guy that played Ross, never wanted to be in the show in the first place, and they kind of talked him into it, and then he got paid more than all of the other stars.
I thought they all got paid the exact same.
Well, that was... And the last 3 seasons, they all got paid $1 million an episode. But I think initially he got paid more money to come onto the show because he didn't want to do it. He was a serious actor.
Oh, yeah. And how'd that work out for him afterwards?
Well, what has he done of notoriety since then?
I mean, I think I've seen him in a couple of things where he played, a guest role or something on a show.
I don't think I've actually seen him in anything that failed, including anything that was successful, but,
Maybe he's just dead. Maybe they just don't want anybody to know.
Right.
And then whatever happened to that girl, Jennifer Aniston? Remember her? And her
she's a movie star now.
And her haircuts. Oh, man, those were the days.
Where's the chance for people to stick their hands up the insides of puppets?
I think Nick is talking about the ancient art of Muppetry. And when he's talking about that, I think that you're referring to the story that was in the news this week about Sesame Street introducing a new character that is a former prisoner.
Yeah. So the better question would be who's expanding their cloth lineup?
Where do you come up with these?
Well, they're made of cloth.
Yes, we all know. Well, in my heart, they're flesh and bone, Nick. I mean, but now finally a Muppet I can relate to.
Oh, an ex-prisoner, that's how you relate to it?
Well, my father, he spent half his life in prison. So now that this is there, I'm like, hey, finally they took my suggestion, my story ideas. Maybe we'll finally see something come out of this Sesame Street.
So they're trying to attract kids of parents who have been in jail?
Well, I guess, maybe. It appeals to me. As soon as they said that, it perked me right up. Haven't you ever had a loved one in prison?
No.
Oh, I guess you're high and mighty and all fancy and whatnot then.
Am I?
You don't, I mean, have you ever known someone to go to prison?
Yes.
How did that work out for you? I mean, do you still keep in touch?
Not really.
Well, I mean, they're on the inside. They don't have cell phones. They don't have communication. I mean, The least you could do is write them a letter.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much to do with them on the inside, but now I've seen them a couple times since they got out.
Well, that's going to be awkward. Why didn't you write me? Were you way too busy? Oh, yes, I was busy driving new cars everywhere and having lavish dinners. I'm a fancy lad, I can't be just writing prisoners all the time.
I was having lavish deliciousness.
And then what kind of conversation did you have with this person when they got out?
Well, I saw them and they came around to do some work on my house, and I gave them a hug, and I told them I'd miss them. And
you knew them well enough that they would do work on your house, and you didn't write them a letter when they were in prison.
Yeah, I actually, their wife who didn't go to prison, I took care of their wife quite a lot when they were in prison.
I bet you did. I knew that kid looked a lot like you. I know the neighbor you're talking about now.
Oh, chicka wow wow.
But if I go to prison, will you at least write me and come and visit? I mean, that's...
No, I'll Skype with you.
All right, okay, fine.
When news breaks, we're the first there to mark it.
There was a new superstar born to who?
Two of the biggest a-holes in Hollywood.
Got it, baby.
Kim Kardashian Hole and Kanye West Hole both had a child out of wedlock, Nick. They're living in sin currently.
Yes.
And I don't approve of that. You know, I was raised in a strict Catholic, Christian, Baptist family. And we don't believe in, you know, having babies outside of being married. That's disgusting. We do, however, applaud them for not having an abortion. We leave that up to the child.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the child's life can be a living abortion.
Right.
I mean, with those two parents, what kind of person are they going to raise?
I think that I just see a reality show just brewing there.
It's sad, though, that that's the only future this kid has. If you could suggest anything to Kanye, we've seen him blow up. I actually watched more than my fair share of Kanye West blowing up videos. What would you suggest for a guy like him who just doesn't seem to have a good temper, first of all? I mean, he's now got to show an example for a child, you know, like, and he's not really capable, I don't think, of going through any type of situation without a huge temper tantrum like a big baby.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's how many award ceremonies has he ruined for everybody?
Yeah, and some might say, well, it's probably part of his act by now. And it could have been like once or twice, but I don't think making a career out of it is something anyone wants to do. I don't think he wants to blow up in front of somebody. But, you know, the one thing is about Kanye, I'm not scared of him. Are you?
No, I mean, I'm bored by him. I mean, to me, it's just, I've never bought any of his songs, and I never will.
Way to rub it in, Nick, because I have purchased a few of his songs on iTunes, and that is the bane of my existence. What did you say, the bane of your existence? Shut up, voices in my head. Listen, I am sorry that I bought any of his songs. I don't know why I did it. At the time, I thought, oh, these are kind of catchy. And then he kept being a jerk, but you can't unbuy things you buy on iTunes. They should make that possible. I want my money all back, please. Well, before we screw up anyone else's lives, we probably should let them go. Thank you for listening. Nick and I both do other things, but this is one of the things we do together. So we're glad that, because of you, Nick and I get to talk more. And as you know, if I wasn't doing this and I was in prison, Nick would never talk to me again. And
please email me if there's any way that I can annoy you.
For all the things and the links and the hoodilia and all the whatnot, visit our website for this podcast, pantsfreepod.com, and that will lead you to other K-holes.
Oh, I like it already.
For Nick J. Miles, who's reporting to us from San Diego, I'm Belonius Francine Marconi, sitting here pantsless in my home studio, saying,
be careful of high-velocity butt plugs.
Pantalones libero.
Join us again next time for another glorious edition of the Pants Free Podcast. Until then, a cheerio and ta-ta for now. Now, please put your pants back on.